When there are no big visitors around to photograph in the landscape, many of us, to get our photography fix and find an excuse to get out and about with our camera, will turn to shooting intimate subjects, details like flowers, and to do that we'll turn to a macro lens. Now most macro lenses range between 105 down to 50 millimeters. There are some wider, there are some longer, but that seems to be the typical focal range that most of us have. Now, I have an alternative solution, something that will allow us to approach things totally differently and get more experimentational. Is that a word? Experimentational? Yes, it is, I believe. And certainly more creative. And that is a fisheye lens, like this one from Laowa. But you knew that, you saw the logo. Now I should very quickly say that this is not a gear review. I don't like doing gear reviews on this channel. They're done to death. It's kind of a bit boring, to be honest. What I really want to talk about today is the creative side of this particular focal length, this type of lens. The lens I've got is a Laowa, I think I'm saying that right, Laowa 8 to 15 millimeter fisheye. It's brand new. It launches June the 6th, which is probably when this video is going to come out. And the reason why I've got it, Laowa sent it to me a couple of months ago to review, because if you don't know this channel, if you don't know me, I'm a full-time photographer and creative director, have been for over 35 years, but as a little side hustle as of last year, I'm also a staff writer at fstoppers.com. So brands send me a lot of stuff, I get to play with a lot of stuff, which is pretty cool. But all the reviews are on F-Stoppers. Videos here, the creative side of photography. So if you're interested in my thoughts about fisheye lenses in a bit more detail and a bit of a review about this particular lens, I'll put the article link in the description below as soon as it's published. This fisheye lens is very similar to a macro lens because I can get within about 3 inches of my subject. I'm getting in so close, but of course the field of view is 180 degrees, which means I'm going to get a lot of distortion to the perspective, which is at first feels a bit weird, but as soon as you get used to it, accept it and work with it, it becomes a lot of fun. It's really quite creative. I've had this lens for a while now, and it took a little while for it to grow on me, but I'm at the point where I just love it. I want to just shoot pretty much anything I can see with it and see what happens, and I sort of have been, actually. I've spent the last couple of days walking around my local area here, and I'll share some of those photos in the gallery at the end, along with some of the things that I hope to shoot today. So this is an 8 to 15 zoom. What I'm finding is I'm using it pretty much on the 15 end and going down to about 13, because 13 is at the point where you start to see the edge of the barrel come into frame. 15 is my go-to. And I'm not paying any attention as usual. I'm looking for some dried flower heads. Oh, there's one. I don't know if from there you can see how close I am. I'm pretty much touching this dried flower head, seed head. I need some sunlight. Where's it gone? It's too flat. I did some the other day that are far nicer. I'll show you those and this. You got to remember to you got to kind of put your camera out and put your feet back, because you can get your feet in the shot if you're not too careful. Right, there we go. Perfect. That's probably the first shot that everybody does, right? Point up to a bunch of trees to get them all converging. Cliched, but it's cool. I had to do it. Got behind me what looks like a honeysuckle bush. So what I'm going to do is, because I've got a 180-degree field of view, is I'm going to put this camera right into the bush and get a really immersive shot. The flowers will basically wrap around the camera, and that should get an interesting result. Let's give it a try. It's just one of those days, isn't it? Sun, cloud, wind, no wind. Challenging conditions. One disadvantage with this lens is because the glass sticks out beyond the barrel and you can't put filters on it to protect it. It's very prone to getting knocked and scratched, so I've got to keep remembering to always put my lens cap on after I've taken a photo and I start walking. The wind's really picking up now, so hopefully my audio is okay. This is the kind of shot that I really enjoy doing. I'm putting the camera right in amongst the grass, right where the action is, and it's very immersive. And I've got a 180-degree field of view, so everything wraps around, everything is distorted, but the plant that's the focal point of this particular shot isn't distorted. It's right in the center of the frame. I'm enjoying that. This lens is also very good for panoramic landscape shots as well. It's just that I don't really have any amazing panoramic views around here. Although I did shoot something a bit uninteresting the other day, just as an example to show you. Basically, you need to have the horizon right across the center of your frame so you don't get any distortion. It's nice and straight. And yeah, you're going to get distortion either side, of course, but if there's nothing in the foreground, you can minimize it. If you're shooting something in the distance, a nice mountainscape or something, and it's perfect. What this means is, yeah, you're going to get your horizon through the center of the frame, so you just crop. Now, I'm a believer that a 24 megapixel camera is all you need for most photography. It's certainly all I use most of the time. This is probably the one time where I would say something like a 47, 48 megapixel camera is the better choice. If you do intend to print at any sort of decent size, you are going to want to reframe and put that center horizon along the top third or the bottom third, right? It's going to look far more aesthetically pleasing. Now, I have been doing that with my 24 megapixel camera that I'm using, but I'm only putting them on websites, on the internet. I'm not printing them out, so it's fine. So that's something to bear in mind. Well, I think that's me done for the day. I hope you found this interesting. So, fisheye, a good alternative to a macro if you want to get really experimental and really push your creativity. Here are the pictures that I shot over the past, well, month or so. So enjoy, and I'll see you next time.